Welcome to Healthy Living with Yoga Anita, where I interview inspiring guests from the healing arts, nonprofits, and charitable organizations, along with people who simply love life and having fun. Together, we share practical wellness tips, uplifting stories, and ideas to help you live a healthier, happier life. And now, on with the show. Hello, friends. Welcome to a very special announcement about the podcast of Healthy Living with Yoga Anita. I am going to start to do video podcasts. And I have to tell you, this is a little uncomfortable for me. And that might surprise some of you. I've been teaching yoga and fitness for decades. I'm on the radio. I've written books, I've taught classes, workshops, and private sessions. I've stood in front of classrooms and groups of people for most of my professional life. But sitting here telling you that I'm going to be on camera and saying, here I am, this is what I believe, this is what I want to share with you, that's different. So today I want to tell you why I'm doing this and why I think it's important. Not just for me, but maybe for you too. For a long time, Healthy Living with Yoga Anita was really built around my radio show. I would interview wonderful people working in wellness, healing, fitness, nonprofits, community organizations, and so many different areas of healthy living. And I love it. I love hearing their stories. I love introducing you to people who had something valuable to share. But if I'm completely honest with you, there was another reason I relied so heavily on guests. I wasn't always brave enough to consistently share what I thought. It was much easier to say, tell me your story. I could ask the questions. I could shine the spotlight on someone else. And I thought, well, my guests will share the episode with their audience, and that will help grow the podcast. Sometimes they did. But let me tell you something I learned. Guests don't necessarily promote themselves or the podcast just because they're on it. I eventually realized something. If I want this message to reach more people, I have to be willing to share my own voice too. And then there was the camera. I have to admit, I was reluctant. I've had some history with being visible when it comes to yoga. When I was a full-time classroom teacher, I was actually asked to leave a teaching position because my yoga practice was frowned upon by some parents. That experience stayed with me. It made me cautious. It made me wonder whether people would judge me, whether they would understand what yoga really means to me, and perhaps, most importantly, whether they would accept me for talking openly about yoga and the connection between the body, mind, and spirit. So when video podcasts became more and more popular, I looked around and thought, isn't this for younger people? Isn't this for celebrities? Who wants to sit and watch me? And then I had to stop and ask myself, why not me? Why can't someone who has spent decades learning, teaching, practicing, and living yoga sit down and have a conversation? Why does age have to be a reason to hide? Why can't getting older actually be a reason to become more visible? So here I am, trying something new. And that's really what I want this podcast to be about, trying something new. Not because I have everything figured out, I don't, but because I believe we should never stop learning, growing, exploring, and challenging ourselves. And I want to share something I have learned through my years of practicing and teaching yoga. Yoga isn't about being flexible. It isn't about touching your toes. It isn't about standing on your head. It isn't about having a certain body. And it certainly isn't about being a certain age. Yoga is for you exactly where you are. Maybe you're 30. Maybe you're 50. Maybe you're like me and beyond 70. Maybe you're 80. Maybe you've never done yoga before. Maybe you can't get down on the floor. Maybe you have aches and pains. Maybe you're sitting at a desk all day. Maybe you're recovering from years of not taking care of yourself. Or maybe you're already active and simply want to feel better in your body. Yoga can meet you where you are. And that's why I want to explore here. That's what I want to explore here. Not just yoga poses. I want to talk about the whole person. Your body, your mind, your spirit. Because healthy living isn't just about exercise. It's about how you breathe, how you handle stress, how you speak to yourself, how you take care of your energy, how you connect with other people, how you find purpose, how you learn to slow down, and how you continue to grow even when your body and your life begin to change. And I'm going to be very honest about something. I'm aging, and so are you. That's not a negative statement. That's life. But I don't want to simply get older. I want to age well. I want to keep moving. I want to maintain strength. I want to maintain balance. I want to be able to get up from a chair. I want to keep my mind active. I want to breathe deeply. I want to continue learning. I want to be curious. I want to have energy. And I want to continue doing the things I love. Yoga is one of the tools I use to help me do that. And I want to share what I'm learning along the way. Because I'm not teaching yoga from some place of perfection. I'm practicing it. I'm living it. And I'm aging with it. This isn't just about me. Here's what I hope happens with this video podcast. I hope you see yourself here. Maybe you're someone who has always thought, I'm too old for yoga. You're not. Maybe you think, I'm not flexible enough. You don't have to be. Maybe you think, I don't look like the person I see doing yoga online. Well, neither do I, and I don't want you to feel like you have to. Yoga doesn't require you to look a certain way. It asks you to show up. And sometimes showing up is the hardest part. Here's a personal challenge. This podcast is also a personal challenge for me, and so I'm challenging myself to be more visible, to share my opinions, to talk about things that matter to me, to occasionally be vulnerable, to try new technology, to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and perhaps most importantly, to stop telling myself that's not for people my age. Because maybe it is. Maybe that's exactly the point. We don't have to stop trying new things because we're getting older. We don't have to become invisible. We don't have to put ourselves in a box. We can reinvent ourselves. We can learn. We can change. We can begin again. And yes, we can start a video podcast. So moving forward, you're going to see a little bit of everything here. I'll continue having guests because there are so many amazing people I want you to meet. But you're also going to hear more from me too. I'll share yoga practices, healthy living tips, conversations about aging, stress, movement, mindfulness, energy, self-care, and the connection between the body, mind, and spirit. Some episodes will be serious, some will be educational, some might make you laugh, and some may simply give you something to think about. And I hope you'll participate. Leave a comment, ask a question, share your experience. Tell me what you're struggling with. Tell me what you'd like to learn about. Because this isn't supposed to be just my podcast. I want it to become a conversation. So if you've been watching this and listening to this and thinking, well, if Anita can try something new, maybe I can too, then I've accomplished something today. Maybe your something new is yoga. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's taking a walk. Maybe it's finally taking care of yourself. Maybe it's starting a new business. Maybe it's going back to school. Maybe it's simply saying yes to something you've been afraid to try. Whatever it is, don't let your age decide what you're capable of. Don't let somebody else's opinion define who you are. And don't wait until you feel completely ready, because sometimes you just have to begin. That's what I'm doing today. I'm beginning this new chapter of healthy living with Yoga Anita. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my radio show. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for supporting my books and my work. And thank you for giving me the courage to step in front of a camera and share a little bit more of myself with you. I'm Anita, and I believe healthy living is about taking care of the body, mind, and spirit at every age. So let's keep learning, let's keep moving, let's keep growing, and more importantly, let's keep showing up. I'll see you on the next episode of Healthy Living with Yoga Anita. And yes, I'm still getting used to the camera, but I'm here. And that's a start. Thanks for listening. Love and peace. Thanks for tuning in today, and please comment, like, and share this podcast with your friends. I really appreciate you. Have a great week, everyone. Love and peace.